Hello and welcome to the Daily Bible Podcast. My name is William Hemsworth. Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode. Well, today we continue our way through Matthew chapter 6. We're about a quarter of the way through it, and we're seeing Jesus talking a lot about self-glorification. And in today's passages, we get just a little bit more on that. We also get a transition into what I call the sincerity of prayer. So today's verses we're going to look at are Matthew chapter 6, verses 6 through 7. So Matthew chapter 6, verses 6 through 7 say, "But whenever you pray, go into your room and shut the door and pray to your Father who is in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you. But when you are praying, do not heap up empty phrases as the Gentiles do, for they think that they will be heard because of their many words." So in the first passage in Matthew chapter 6, we see Jesus once again urging us to not seek our own glory when we're doing things like prayer. He's telling us, go pray in secret, and God will see what you're doing, and He will reward you accordingly. So like I said yesterday, it doesn't mean we can't say prayers in public, but we can't call undue attention to ourselves. We can't call attention to ourselves when it should be going to God. And so how about verse 7? Do not heap up empty phrases like the Gentiles do. Here Jesus is talking about our sincerity when we pray. Okay? This verse itself does not condemn fixed prayers or repeating some of the same concerns that we have. If a family member is sick, praying repeatedly for them, etc. But it does exclude trying to manipulate God through prescribed formulas or meaningless verbiage. Now, just saying, basically Jesus is saying, you're not going to be rewarded based on the number of words that you say. And this is something that the pagans in Jesus' time were doing. Remember, Israel was a Roman territory. And the Roman religion had many gods. They had, Athena, Zeus, etc. This was the height of paganism, if you will. And so what the pagans did when they prayed is they had long lists of names of their gods, and they just kept reciting them over and over in their prayers, hoping that by constantly repeating the names of all these gods, that these gods would help them in some way. So that's what Jesus is telling us. Just because you say 5 million words in a prayer doesn't mean you're going to be heard. What matters is your sincerity. So some of the best prayers out there that we can say may be a very heartfelt, "God help me, I can't do this on my own." Or, "God help me, I am so sorry for what I've done. Lord, help me to forgive this person who has done me wrong." Some short prayers can mean so much more than spending 2 hours saying the same thing over and over again with no meaning. So that's what Jesus is getting at here. Be sincere in our prayer. Be sincere in our petitions. It doesn't mean that we can't use fixed formulas if they help us in some way, as long as that sincerity is there. And just like anything, we just can't be going through the motions on something. Let's be sincere. Let's be sincere in our prayer. So my prayer for you all today is that we take this to heart, and that we establish that time on a daily basis to go to God in prayer, to spend some time learning about Him, so that we can grow in our faith, we can grow in our love, and show that love to others. So thank you for joining me on this episode of the Daily Bible Podcast. Thank you always for listening. Thank you always for sharing. If you need any prayer requests or anything, please email me, hopewithin18, that's 18, @gmail.com. God bless you guys. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Daily Bible Podcast, and have a great day. Thank you.